name, location, and from which batch you are trying to attend this course. Online guys, try to post the details. The first one is positive scenarios. The scenarios which are required to evaluate the application, the scenarios which are required to validate the application, to ensure that minimum requirements are met. You are trying to test some application, minimum requirements, it has to be met. For that, you need to test some scenarios. Those are considered as positive scenarios. Okay. Sivakiran, your drawing is good. Don't draw anything on the screen or mobile. Okay. All right. Any other scenarios? These are all positive scenarios. That's it. Any other scenarios you test for the pen? You purchase the pen today, and within 2 days, the ink in that pen got exhausted. Would that be good? What is that scenario called? Quality is good. You are able to write it properly. Pen is good. All the things, all the scenarios, whatever you listed, 11, all are meeting. But instead of getting the lifetime for 1 month, within 2 days, entire ink got finished. What do you call it as? Can I consider it as performance? Okay. So performance means you need to check the performance of that pen. How do you check? You are trying to write. How do you write it? Maybe continuously you have to write for long duration of time. That is one scenario. And try to write it in a paper, number of lines. Try to evaluate the performance of the pen. There are 2 ways. One is the duration. How long we can write, or like total length, how much you can write. That is also duration or length, both are same. With this, you should be able to evaluate the performance of the pen. Okay. Now let us talk about some negative scenarios. Whatever I listed are positive scenarios. What are the negative scenarios? Anyone? One negative scenario. Negative means that generally doesn't happen, but in case if it happens, how is your product behaving? Yes. So gel pen is there, you are trying to write it on the stone, or it can be any pen. That's definitely will not work, but you can give a try. Okay. You can mention it like odd surface, something odd or uneven surface, you say. You have to check in these scenarios. For negative scenarios, uneven surface. Any other scenarios? What is that? Sneak flow. Ball-like pen is there. Okay, that's same now. Uneven surface. Okay. Basically, that is a positive scenario. You are trying to write it on a paper and you are checking whether the paper is getting spoiled or not. Right? That can be considered under positive scenarios. Negative scenario. Dipping on the water. You drop your pen in water for 5 minutes. Maybe like, unfortunately, you drop it accidentally. Again, you need to check whether it is working properly or not. That is also negative scenario. Intentionally, we are testing it under different environments. Dipping in water. Okay. Anything else?
Extreme temperature.
Okay. Extreme temperature. Very good scenario. What is the room temperature, anyone? What is the room temperature? 20? 25? Anyone? 28? Huh? Check in Google, everyone. 23 degrees centigrade, if I am not wrong. Try it out. 25 means Anantapur. What is the room temperature? 23 or 27? I guess it is 23 when I read some long time back. What is the room temperature? Room temperature means 21. Standard room temperature, not like current temperature. What is the ideal room temperature? That is a question. We should check for India. In summer, 25, 26 to 27 they mentioned, right? Most of the cases. Of course, this kind of questions they don't ask you, but at least something you have to remember. You should have studied in physics, right? Room temperature. What is the temperature where you see that water will be converted into ice? No, water will be converted to ice, right? 4 degree or -4. -4 or 4? -4. Okay. Anyhow, come out of that. We don't want those things. In case extreme temperature means you can try at very less temperature, below room temperature and above room temperature. Okay. That is one more good scenario. And gravity, some of you have mentioned gravity. I don't think anyone is here who can take these pens to some other planet and try or take it to the high altitudes, right? Maybe when you are traveling in flight, we don't know whether it works or not. These kind of scenarios. So try to remember 10 positive scenarios and 2 or 3 negative scenarios. What are the security scenarios here? We discussed about performance, functionality, then security. No security here. Some security scenarios. What do you mean by security? Like in case of pen, security in the sense it should not be stolen by anyone. How do you ensure that? What scenarios will ensure your pen is not stolen? I don't know if the similar questions will be asked or not, but definitely you have to think from this perspective. Tell me, last 3 rows. Sure. Security scenarios means something which will cause huge loss either for the company or even for humans, right? Some of you have mentioned toxic materials. That is one security scenario which will cause harm to the people. Kalyan has mentioned this. Keshav Kalyan. Or material toxicity or toxicity. You just check in the Google for the exact name. That is one scenario. Any other scenarios? I don't want my pen to be stolen by someone else. How do we prevent that? You can write your name. That is like kids will do, not for us. Any password protected pens? Nothing like that. I think this is the only scenario you can remember. Okay, fine then. This is all about testing a pen for different positive scenarios and negative scenarios. We covered about ultramutual.com testing an application, test scenarios. Then let us come back to ultramutual.com. We need to write the test cases now. We develop the test scenarios, right? Everyone covered those scenarios? Are you able to remember? The scenarios for login, ultramutual.com. I'll give you 5 minutes of time. All of you has to list down those scenarios now. Okay. 12 scenarios. It is there in the screen, but still you need to put it in a proper sentence. Scenarios means you need to list down like test login page with valid username and password. Mention expected results. Login should be successful. That is the expected result. Actual result, you update after testing the application. So let us take 10 minutes. I want everyone to list 15 scenarios total for the login page of an application. It is there on the screen. I want you to list down and write test scenarios. Or else let us write directly the test cases. Okay. Test cases means as a tester, as a quality analyst engineer, your job is to write the test cases once you get the job. Software testing, manual testing means not about only the testing part. You need to develop test cases. Developing test cases means writing test cases. That's it. Not like writing the code. You need to write the test cases. These kind of jobs will be there for IT applications, some non-IT applications. Like for example, remote is there, TV remote. If you are using this remote also would have been tested by quality control team. They also take testers only for this job role. Their job is once they get this product, they have to try whether volume is working or not. What in case if volume is not working? They have given the product without testing. If they release this into the market, you are trying to increase the sound. Of course, it is increasing, but it is not stopping. It is going on 30, 40, 50. It's not stopping. That is a defect, right? So the product can be anything. You should have the capability to generate the test cases. Understood? To develop the test cases. Considering that, you have to write test cases per login page now. After that, I'll give you the test. You try to write test cases for the remote. Okay. Test cases includes, first one is title. What is this test case? Just with the title, we should be able to understand what is this test case for. Second one is steps. What are the test steps? The next one is expected results. That's it. These three has to be there. And along with that, maybe prerequisite. Sometimes prerequisite should be there. Prerequisite means to execute this test case, what is needed. For example, if you want to test login page, what is a prerequisite? Anyone? What is a prerequisite? Tell me. Yes, valid credentials is one of the prerequisite. Other than that, how about the website? Website should be launchable. So prerequisite you can mention like website should be reachable and the user should be able to access. That is a prerequisite. Then only I can test the login page, right? So you can write it in an Excel sheet or notepad. These test cases: title, prerequisite, test steps, and expected result. How do you write? Right click, new, Microsoft Excel sheet. I'll write it as test cases for login. When you get a job as a software tester, be as a fresher or experienced with 4 years of experience also, your duty is understand the requirements, write test cases, execute. If there are any defects, report those defects, and then wait for the developers to fix it. That's it. This is your job when you get a software testing role. Serial number, then title, test steps, then expected results. Okay, prerequisite also will mention. Either you can write in a notepad or Excel sheet. We are trying to write test cases for the login page. Test scenarios means one word, one sentence, just trying to list what scenario to test. Test cases means you have to give in detail, step-by-step process of explanation will be provided in the test cases. Okay, can you write it down? This is the format, and test scenarios are here. You need to list down in that format. Try now, everyone. Done. Last 5 minutes. Who wants to explain all these scenarios? First of all, are you guys able to follow? Yes, no? We'll try to work on the Windows services, control panel, settings, registry, file systems, and then what else? Performance. That we'll get from next week. So everyone has to come with Windows operating system. Command prompt, commands, all those things will work from tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week. We'll install some antivirus products, firewall, and then play around with that. Okay. Should be proper sentence. Okay. Don't write it in a rough manner. It should be in clear sentence. Try to list as many scenarios as possible and then test cases. Done. I'll write one or two test cases. You have to write other test cases. Fine. First test case. This is a acceptance test case. You are trying with valid username, valid password. That is a acceptance test case, means minimum criteria for the application to consider it for testing, right? If login with positive with valid username or password is not working, do you continue testing the application? No, right? If you have a car, you're not able to start the car. Do you try like performance, speed, all those things? It is possible. Same thing. Login, if it is not working for valid username and password, it is waste of testing other scenarios. Other scenarios you can test invalid username and password. That will obviously will fail. But we will not continue testing other scenarios. These are called acceptance test cases or BVT test cases. Just remember the name BVT. Anyone? What is the full form of BVT? No. Build verification test. Okay. Developers, when they give the application to the testers, they do this BVT. Not developers. Basically, testers will do the build verification test. So here, summary is test login for valid username and valid password. Prerequisite working application of whatever is application you are testing, just mention that ultramutual.com. Test steps. Step 1. Launch alteromutual.com website. .com website. Step 2. Click on sign in button. Step 3. Provide valid credentials for the username and password field. Example, jsmith / password as demo1234. Okay. This is the first test case. Expected result. Login should be successful. This is one test case. So once you develop this test case, assume like someone else will join in the company as a tester. You left your organization after 5 months, some new person has joined. These test cases are supposed to be tested by someone. They should be able to understand these test cases. That is the main objective of preparing test cases. If you don't develop test cases, you can say like, what is there? It is a login page. You can try with valid username or password. Why should we write test cases? For applications like Flipkart or any kind of applications, there will be 10,000 test cases. It is not possible for anyone to test or track all those test cases manually. That's the reason we write test cases and we keep a track of it. Where do we save all these test cases? What is the tool name? What is the tool called for writing or saving the test cases? Test tracking tool. Okay. Test tracking tool. Examples are TestLink, QC, Quality Center. All these are test tracking tools. QC, Quality Center. I'm just mentioning it here. TestLink. These are test tracking tools. Write test cases now, other test cases in the similar format. You can do copy paste also. Control C, Control V. What changes you need to do? Test login for invalid username and valid password. Prerequisite is same or different? What do you think? It is same. Even to test invalid credentials, you need the same website. And test steps. Login, launch alteromutual.com website, click on sign in button, provide invalid credentials, or you need to change it. How do you provide? Provide invalid username and valid password. Like instead of jsmith, you are giving Smith. Valid password. What is the expected result? Login should be successful or failure? Login should fail, I'll mention. You should have the capability to write a test case like this, or assume like you are going to join in some company as a tester, software tester, manual tester, quality analyst, quality control engineer, test engineer, all are same. The work is this one. Someone will come and tell you, okay, there are 10 test cases. You have to execute these test cases for the application. You need to understand step by step and then execute the test cases. This is your role as a software tester. Any doubts, anyone? Now everyone try to finish other scenarios under 5 minutes. I'll ask you the count. How many of you have done it? Online people, share the screen and you should be able to list down all these scenarios. I'll share this Excel sheet. Test cases for login, right? Interview questions, they ask you like, what are the things you include in a test case? What are the test case consists of? Very easy, right? Or tough? You just need to mention title, prerequisite, test steps, expected results. That's it. This okay. Currently in use. Tell me the count. How many test cases you guys have written? Starting from last row. Tell me. 2, 3, 4, 5. Shravani. How many test cases you wrote? Still writing? This one is mandatory. Everyone should do it. Okay. Writing test cases. First, you need to list down the scenarios. Then write test cases. I wrote for 2 scenarios. Other scenarios you want me to list? You can take a picture and keep it for reference. Then develop test cases. See, first scenario, valid username and valid password. Second scenario, valid username and invalid password, or invalid username or valid password. Fourth is invalid username and invalid password. Special characters for username and password. That is the fifth. Alphanumeric username. That is 6. Username with special characters. That is 7th. Blank username and blank password. That is 8th. Spaces in the username 9th. Spaces in the password 10th. Then case sensitivity for username. Case sensitivity for password 11 and 12. Apart from that, default credentials 13. Then 1 or 1 is equal to 1. That is 40. And the last one, brute force attack. That is a security scenario. We'll discuss that later. For now, 15 test cases total I have mentioned. Anyhow, I have recorded this video. I'll try to put it in one folder. This video, Excel sheet, interview questions, answers. Try to prepare it.
Not like that. Don't do that. That is not a organ language, it's even.
Anyone listed all the scenarios? You need to write test cases or list down the scenarios in a clear manner. Title I'll give you. Test steps, expected results. You have to do it by tomorrow. Okay. Again, I'm going to tell you slowly. Try to list it down. First scenario. Test the application. Test login with valid username and valid password. First test case. Second test case. Test the login with valid username and invalid password. Third test case, test the login with invalid username and valid password. Fourth, test login with invalid username and invalid password. Fifth, test username with special characters. Sixth, test username with alphanumeric username. Seventh, test login with alphanumeric and special characters as password. Seventh, try with blank username and blank password. Eighth, check the username for case sensitivity. Ninth, check the password for case sensitivity. 10th, test the login for default credentials like admin welcome, admin 1234. Okay. Or 10th or 11th. 10th scenario, spaces in the username. 11th, spaces in the password. 12th, try 1 or 1 is equal to 1 for username and password. Or 11th is try 1 or 1 is equal to 1 for username. 12th is try 1 or 1 is equal to 1 for password. 13th is any other scenarios? Brute force, check brute forcing of the login page. Brute forcing means you try with hundreds of usernames and passwords. Length of the password, yeah. 15th scenario, try with long username. 16th scenario, try with long password. If your application is not able to handle large usernames or password, the application may crash in the backend. You get some exception. These are the 16 scenarios. I want everyone to write test cases and come up. Okay. As of now, you are just learning theory. From next week onwards, I'll give you the antivirus products. You need to write test cases for it. Okay. This is the base. For all the practicals, I'm going to refer these concepts. For that, you have to list down all the test cases when you come for tomorrow. It should be clear. Other person should be able to understand. How much clear means? If I see these test, if anyone sees these test cases, they can easily understand what exactly I'm trying to test. Am I correct? In this manner, you have to list all these 16 scenarios with examples. Okay, try now 3-4 scenarios. How many of you are listed? No? Right? Do it for tomorrow. If you want job, you have to do it. These are easy ones. Even 10 years experience, project leads also they are doing the same. When you get into the software testing, even if they have 8 years, 10 years experience also, they have to write test cases with no resources. Freshers to 10 years, they write test cases, execution, defect reporting, all those things. When you come for tomorrow's session, everyone has to write it in a paper, not in the laptop. That's how you guys can copy and come from other persons, right? So I'll see your handwriting. For this scenario, 16 test cases. Test steps, right? So it depends on the scenario. This is a login page, 3 test cases, 3 steps. Say for example, you are trying to transfer money from one account to another. How many steps will come? Launch page, login. After login, click on transfer money. Then select from account, select to account, provide money, click on transfer, take the successful message. So how many test steps? 17. Depends on the test scenario. Okay. Learn slowly, don't worry. Tomorrow, along with this test case, we'll try to write the defects. Assume like you found some defect. You need to report that defect. Who will fix the defect? Tester or developer? Developer will fix the defect. So the defect report, whatever you are writing, he should be able to understand that. So what are the details that are required for you to file a defect? Those things we'll see tomorrow. Okay. In the defect, we'll write severity and priority. Severity levels are critical, high, medium, low. Priority? Anyone? P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. Which is highest priority? P1. Priority 1. Okay. That we'll see tomorrow. After that, bug life cycle on Friday. With that, most of the software testing is done except types of testing. Types of testing will finish in 1 hour, 1 day. After that, agile process is there. That we'll discuss it later. Those process-oriented ones. We'll get into the desktop engineering kind of work. Okay. Do this assignment. You guys want to do it here or at home? Home or here? First round. Okay, only this week 1 hour sessions. From next week onwards, it will be 1.5 hours. You will be doing all assignments here. Okay, fine, guys. We will see you tomorrow. I would expect everyone to finish this assignment for tomorrow's session. If you are not done, next assignment you have to explain to everyone online and offline. Okay, fine then. Thank you so much. I'll share this video on one of the drive. Yes, Saujanya, explain now.